Hi everybody and welcome into my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in if you're new here, and for all my returning subscribers, welcome back into another video. My name's Bloom and this is Blooming Woman. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about the Blue Lotus flower, okay? And I'm going to be explaining the importance behind the Blue Lotus flower, and more importantly, why it was so important to ancient Egyptians inside of Kemet, okay, ancient Africa. What did they use it for, and why did they hold it with so much importance, really? And also, I want to bring in another thing that I noticed and really trying to understand whether the ancient Egyptians were actually using the blue lotus flower, or were they using the blue lily flower, the water lily? And I'll bring upon some things that I noticed and why I think it's possible that they could have actually been using the blue water lily instead of the blue lotus. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video and see what we can learn about the blue lotus flower. Okay, so right off the bat, I just want to say that I'm not a historian, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an expert when it comes to flowers, so I don't really actually know. I'm not an expert when it comes to these things, but I did notice something with my own two eyes that I have to see. I noticed that there is actually a difference when it comes to the blue lotus flower and the blue water lily. Okay, so if you look inside of the history of ancient Kemet, you'll see that on their walls and their monuments, inside of pyramids, and even inside of their pottery and some of their decorations and furniture, they actually have the blue lotus flower depicted inside of all of their artwork on the walls and writings. It's next to pharaohs, it's next to really important scriptures and really important deities and things of that nature on their walls and their writings. So obviously people over time, after seeing that, came to believe that the ancient Egyptians held it really important and close to their heart, the blue lotus flower. And because of some of the artwork, they also believe that the blue lotus flower definitely gave the ancient Egyptians some type of feelings, heightened senses, or maybe even made them feel high, okay? Now, not at all is this video me trying to promote any type of drug use or trying to promote any type of addiction or anything like that, or to use drugs. I'm just simply stating some of the facts that I know about the blue lotus flower and that I've researched. And this actually isn't even a drug. You can drink it as a herbal tea, so it's nothing crazy like that. Just a disclosure for YouTube, okay? But yes, they held it very important to them. Some of the artwork, I might actually put it inside this video. The ancient Egyptians had images of them actually doing sexual things and things like that, and different social activities, and basically having a good time, almost looking like they're drunk or like they were tripping, and looking like they were really high or intoxicated on some type of substance, okay? And that was depicted inside of their artwork. So now, before I actually made this video, I actually just now started getting into Kemet and just now started doing research and reading some books about Kemet and ancient Egyptian history. So I was really interested inside of the lotus flower and what it meant, and I even ordered some blue lotus, okay? So if you guys are actually interested in seeing what my review is on my blue lotus, you can go ahead and comment below. Or if you have experience with blue lotus flower and drinking it as a herbal tea, go ahead and comment below on your experience as well. But I ordered the blue lotus and I said, let me make a video about this. And then the next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, man, these flowers are shaped kind of different. They don't really look like a lotus, because when you look at a lotus is really it's really open and it's really rounded, and it's more open. And I thought about water lilies, and I said, you know what, this actually looks more like a water lily than it does a lotus, because water lilies have that pointed narrowness to it, like how the ancient Egyptian pictures are. So right off the bat, I said, hold on, I gotta do some research on this before I actually make a video about this. And when I did my research, I came to find out that everywhere I look, every video I looked at, every Google link and article and thing I read basically came down to using Blue Lotus as a word. So what I did was I asked Google, and I said, what is the difference between a lotus and a lily, a water lily? Because I'm almost sure that this is not a lotus and it's a water lily. But what do I know? I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Because we weren't there. This was a long time ago. So anyone claiming to know everything about Kemet and ancient Egypt, you know, be careful of that. I don't really know, but my eyes can definitely say there's a difference. And when I looked into it, there is actually a big difference between water lilies and lotus flowers. So the blue water lilies and the blue lotus flowers are actually two completely different family, okay? So they're not even in the same family, plant family. So they're completely different, two different plant families. And since they're two completely different plant families, then they obviously would give some type of different effect when you actually drink it. So that's why it's really good to bring upon this conversation, to bring upon some clarity and even some food for thought, just to think about the fact that we might actually be calling it by its wrong name. It might not actually be a lotus that they were using inside of those pictures. It could actually just be a water lily. And that's not to say that ancient Egyptians never drank the lotus, the blue lotus either. That's just to say that the actual artwork that's inside of their tombs and that they use so much was actually probably closer to being a water lily, okay? Now, one of the reasons why the ancient Egyptians held this water lily or blue lotus or blue water lily so close to their heart is basically because of the fact that it basically woke up with Ra, okay? Ra is the sun god, the sun deity, is basically a representation of the sun. And if you know anything about ancient Egyptians, you know that Ra is a big deal. So Ra is probably one of the oldest deities inside of Kemet. And if you guys want to know more about Ra, you can actually go ahead and click the link over here where I go into deep details with a special guest all about the 4 different forms of Ra. So what Ra does, which is basically a depiction of the sun, it rises in the morning and it goes to sleep. Okay, so there's a cycle. So Ra basically represents life. There's some type of cycle where it represents rebirth, because it wakes up and then it dies and it goes to rest, and it wakes up and it dies and goes to rest. What happens with the water lily is the blue water lily actually opens its petals up as soon as the sun wakes up. It opens its petals up at the same time. And when the sun goes down, it closes its petal really at the same time as the sun is going down. And that is why this is a plant that was basically used as something that was so important, because of its connection towards the sun. In return, from their perspective, I wasn't there, it was a long time ago, but from their perspective, most likely they saw it as that flower was actually really close to Ra, the sun god, because it moved in that cycle as Ra, the sun god. And then I'm guessing that one day they decided, okay, let's drink this stuff, and they saw that it actually may have had psycho effects, psychedelic type of effects with it, and they actually liked it, okay? Because from what I've heard and the research that I've done, the blue water lily and the blue lotus actually do have two different effects when you drink it. The blue lotus is actually going to be something that you drink, and it helps you dream. It can help you meditate. It can help you see visions clearly. And that makes a lot of sense, because when you think about the color blue, you're really focusing on things that have to deal with your inner eye, that have to do with your third eye chakra, okay? And the lotus is actually something that is known very well in Buddhism and in Hinduism as well. So that will be something that also represents the crown chakra, because it has all of the petals, okay? So the lotus, when you actually drink that as a herb, it can help you drink. It can help you basically tap into your into the astral realm and astral project. It can help you sleep well and help you dream and help you really meditate and get into that state of awareness, okay? Whereas from the research that I've done and how people react to the blue water lily, it's actually quite different. With the blue water lily, it's more of an aphrodisiac. It's more of something that heightens your senses. So that makes perfect sense with the images that were used by ancient Egyptians when they wrote those things on the tombs. And they wrote all of these images that had to deal with things that were a little bit sexual, okay? And that looked like they were having a good time and socializing, because a lot of the people that have used the blue water lily said that their senses were heightened. So if your senses are heightened, obviously that's going to also mean your senses when it comes sexually as well as being able to hear more, as well as even being able to see maybe sharper, and things like that. And it's also been reported that people who use the blue water lily felt more like it was something that that helped them become social and made them socialize. Whereas the blue water lily in Hinduism and Buddhism, we can see is something that makes you go inward and is less socializing type of effects, and it makes you go inward, so it helps you meditate and things of that nature. So this is just something that I felt was really important to bring up, the big differences between the blue water lily and the blue lotus flower. So yeah, they even grow differently. The lotus flower grows really high up, and the water lily only floats right above the surface when it grows, or it just goes up just a little bit. So I really hope this video could help you. I hope that it could help bring some type of understanding and maybe even a little bit of awareness to people when it comes to really using the right terminology with history and things like that, and really understanding that we don't really know history all the way, and there's things that we could still research and even make new assumptions on and come to new conclusions with. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, make sure that you hit the like button, and don't forget to visit my website, bloomingwoman.com, if you want any of my healing services, or if you just want to check out some of my merchandise. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well, and tell me your experiences you've had with Blue Lotus or Blue Water Lily. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you inside of the next one. Bye bye.